Ye born de ungeriskidoo. Ye born de herde mort, mort, mort.
I am making this video because I figured I really should say something about the times we're living in right now. As most of you have probably become aware of, we're living in some pretty difficult times in this country. Not wanting this to be a political video, and we're suffering things that we have not seen in a long time, and in fact, many of you have may never seen. I've never gone through food shortages. I've definitely gone through gasoline shortages back in the early 70s. Um, Most of the people I know that suffered, food shortages and things during the Depression and rationing during the Second World War, they are all mostly gone now. But I do vividly remember hearing of those days, and it appears that difficult times are upon us again. And I'm in a situation where I am on a very limited income. I don't make a ton of money. I just cannot go out and buy whatever I want to buy, regardless of the price. Price is always a consideration, the first consideration a lot of times. And now we're dealing with availability. So what do you do if you are limited in the availability of your food? Well, speaking for myself, I do a lot of baking. I really like baking biscuits and stuff like that. So since I'm pretty much a staples kind of person when it comes to the grocery store, you're talking beans, rice, flour, which is what this video is about, the big three, I guess. And since I do like to bake, and I hear now that they're even starting to limit the amount of flour you can buy in the store, and the price is going up, I thought I would do this video on how to make your flour last longer. This is something I do actually have experience in because I have been practicing. And while I haven't been doing it consistently, uh, I do know how to add other things to your flour to make them go longer, and that's what this video is about. Today we are going to add beans and or rice to your flour to make the flour stretch out longer. Now the process is very simple. You simply take the food item that you want to add to your flour, and you grind it up till it is a flour or a meal itself. And the only thing you need to do that is one of these little things, one of these little coffee grinders. I know I should probably be having a hand crank one because I live out in the woods and I'm, the backwoods kind of guy. But honestly, these are cheap. You can buy them at garage sales for like $1, and they're fast. They're a lot faster than doing it the hand grind way. So this is your main war implement when it comes to making rice flour or bean flour. Now you can use pretty much any type of bean to make flour, as well as, in this container, rice, white rice or brown rice. Today we're going to use pinto beans, but you can use navy beans, garbanzo beans, chickpeas, same thing. Any kind of bean, honestly. Navy beans, Great Northern beans, those are also kind of the same kind of bean. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to put a little bit of beans, say a quarter cup or so, into our little coffee grinder back there, and grind it until it comes out as a flour. And then what we will do is probably tomorrow morning, because it's kind of late in the day today, we're going to make biscuits with a combination of flour and bean flour, and maybe we'll even whip up some rice flour too. And we'll make biscuits and see how they turn out, and show you that yes, indeedy do, it can be done. And there's even another really strange thing you probably haven't considered of that you can use to help you make your biscuits. I'm going to save that one for the end, just to make sure you're still watching. You southern people are either going to love it or you're going to come after me with machetes. Okay, well, I had to turn the generator on because I just didn't have enough juice in my batteries to run this teeny tiny little motor. It's pretty floury, but we're going to go just a little bit longer. I've never really timed this, so we'll do that here in the next batch. I normally do this just as I need, but I have decided that I'm going to put a little ahead for future use. Okay, that's been about 30 seconds or so. That's looking good. We're gonna call that good. Okay, that's 1 cup. And we'll do another cup or 2. Okay, there we have about 30 seconds, and holy smokes, look at that. We'll call that good. We'll do a few more of those. Okay, just for point of reference, I normally make very small batches when I do it. If I'm going to like grind up some rice or beans, I just do it like a half a cup at a time, 1/3 cup at a time, just for each individual batch. This time I actually made beans and rice ahead. And I will tell you, the little grinder, as good a job as it does, is not meant for that much work, and she was getting pretty hot. I had to actually stop and let it cool down a couple times. So just for future reference, you might want to, if you're planning on doing this in more of a volume capacity, I would recommend you get a food processor or something a bit larger than just a little tiny single serving coffee grinder thingy. That's all I have, so that's what I used. Anyway, what I did was I made approximately 1.5 cups of bean flour. This is pinto. Behind me you can see there's flour and navy beans, and this is actually garbanzo beans, chickpeas. I made about 2 cups of this. Whoops, sorry, I was messed with my hold on. My exposure. When I get too close to the camera, it kind of changes my exposure a bit, so it goes dark, and I apologize for that. From what I understand, I have not tried it yet. You can use garbanzo beans or chickpeas, same thing, 100% to make a biscuit. I have not tried it, but we're going to. What we're going to do is, it's already too warm today. It's about 40 degrees outside. So first thing tomorrow morning, when it's still about 15 to 20 degrees, we're going to make biscuits tomorrow morning. I haven't decided what I'm going to use yet, and we'll go through the process quick. This is not a tutorial on how to make biscuits. I'm working on that video actually. It's more of an in-depth. This is the whole process, A to B or C or D, depending on how complicated your biscuits are. Because A to Z is just, that's way too complicated a biscuit for me. I like 4 ingredients. That's it. Anyway, back on track. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to make the biscuits and just see what they're like for consistency, what strength I can use, or proportions, I guess I should say, beans or rice to flour, regular wheat flour. I've had pretty good success with up to like 1/3. So that would, if you're going to make, say, use like 1 cup of ingredients for your biscuits, which is normally what I do, that would be 2/3 cups, 2 1/3 cups of flour and 1/3 cup of rice and or beans. I don't think I'm going to go beyond that. We can try it, but that's stretching your flour out pretty good if you ask me. And we'll do that tomorrow. So anyway, I'm verging on like 3 minutes on this video so far of this clip. So anyway, I got to go do other things. And tomorrow morning, you be here bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. Oh, dark 30 in the morning, we're going to make some biscuits. Okay, I've decided that we're going to make our biscuits out of white unbleached flour, pinto bean flour, a little bit of baking powder, and of course, a part of an egg. It won't take the whole egg though. Hot, 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 hot. Well, they appear to be done. They're a little brown on this side because they cooked so fast I didn't even have time to turn them, but they feel done. Let's get us here our bread knife and pick up a good... Ouch. Boy, they're hot. Hot, hot, hot. Ouch. Well, they're done on the inside. They raised nicely. They didn't raise as much as they would if they would have been just with flour, but they raised nicely. Let's put some butter on there and give it a taste test. If you're wishing to know what that bubbling sound is, I'm making rice on the propane stove. Let's frame that better. I'm standing off to the side of the camera. Here we go. Man, that ain't bad at all. Okay. I'm gonna finish eating this. Okay, these are our navy bean flour biscuits, and these are our rice flour biscuits. The Dutch oven is preheating right now, which is very important, and we're gonna throw them bad boys in and see how they come out. Oh, hot. Here we have our biscuits made with navy bean flour. How do those look? Let's get our other biscuits in the oven and get them done. We're going to put these on the wood stove in another container to stay warm. Ta-da! Look at that. Boy, screwed up cutting that. That's okay now. Now this biscuit here, this is the... I forgot which is which. This is the... That's the flour. This is the rice flour biscuit. Throw a little butter on there. And this is the navy bean biscuit. What do you think of that? Ta-da! Now what happened was I added a little bit too much milk, and I had to add a little bit more flour and grits, so I actually ended up with another biscuit, an extra biscuit. Wow. Hot. Hot, hot, hot. Those turned out pretty well. Now, these leavened more with the grits than it did with the flour. But again, I'm using, a whole wheat brown flour. It'll rise more with an actual white flour. That's been my experience anyway. Let's butter one of these bad boys up. I just ate lunch and I'm really stuffed, so this is going to be like not as fun for me as it is probably for you. Oh yeah. It's got the chili corn grits with cheese. You can definitely taste that in there. This is a lighter, flakier biscuit as well. Man. Good stuff. And here we have one of my favorites. I don't have any more eggs, so I couldn't put egg on this, but this is a chili cheese corn grit biscuit with bacon and cheese on it. And I'm going to enjoy this bugger right now. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Let's wrap this bugger up. Well, there you have it. My little video on how to augment your flour by using rice flour and bean flour. Helps things stretch out a little bit. A lot of you are probably saying, well, I don't use flour at all. How am I going to use bean flour and rice flour? Well, maybe you should start using flour. It's a lot less expensive than buying the product. The way things are going now, a 10-pound bag of flour goes a long way, and an inexpensive bag of beans goes even further. I'm kind of winded. I'm on a walk with my dog and the snow's giving way. But anyway, look for that video. I think it's right up here or it's right up there. And if it's not in those places, I don't know where it is. But my video on making biscuits from scratch in a Dutch oven, in a wood stove, but it'll work in a regular stove as well. I guess I've never tried it. But anyway, things are going to get really interesting here. So if you're interested in making your food go as far as possible and eating healthy and a lot, as inexpensively as possible, the videos I'm making coming up should help you out in that regard. Anyway, I got to go find my dog. She's around here somewhere. We will see you on the next one.